Hi everyone, it's Erica here, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk to you about my experience working on Virgin Voyages as a dancer slash performer and also being part of an inaugural cast. I've never said that correctly, inaugural. So if you don't know what it... Can't say it anymore. We were the very first cast to do these shows on this ship. So Virgin Voyages has 4 ships now. We launched their 4th ship last year, which was Brilliant Lady, which is where I worked, and I had a blast. I really had a blast. I've got a few things I want to talk about, like the audition, rehearsals, the shows a little bit, and honestly just opening up a new ship, because that was wild. Now, I used to work on a different cruise ship company called AIDA, which is a German company, but I wanted to do something different. I don't think the standard was right for me. I just needed more dance, you know? Didn't want to clap and wave my hands anymore, that's all I'm gonna say. In 2025, from January through March, I was doing a lot of cruise ship auditions and other auditions as well. My goal was to get a job on land or a different cruise ship company. When I did Virgin, guys, I loved it. I loved the panel, I loved the choreographer, I loved the vibes, and I know these people now and they are just what I thought. Amazing. Shout out to you all if anyone sees this. The audition was full out. I was there from like 9 till 5. We literally like barely stopped. It just kept going and I was like, this is it. From my memory, we did a round of like a jazz funk kind of vibe. I remember being in one of the last groups and I thought, you're at the end, Erica, like remember the routine. It's not about remembering it all the time, but I just didn't want to forget it because I had it and that was it. There was no other option for me. I went in and I went, Erica, you can do it, you can do it. And I was like, just have fun. I'm not going to talk too much about the audition because I've got lots more to say, but I just want to say a few little bits about each point. I finished the routine and I was like, I think I did it. And whenever you do a routine in front of a panel, most of the time, it's not going to feel like your best shot. You're always going to say, oh, I could have done better. Oh, I should have kicked my leg higher like I did earlier on when I was learning it or something like that. But for some reason, I didn't dwell on it. And then I did it and I was like, woo, nice. Now there's only one more group and then we'll see what happens next. And then they did the last group and they were like, can we see number blah, blah, blah again, which was me. And I was like weaving my way through Pineapple. If you know Pineapple, it's so tight. And I was like, oh, that's my number. So I like looked back and I was like, whoa, I'm gonna weave my way through again. And I had to go again. I was like, oh, well, Erica, you just did all right. I was like, oh, I really have to nail it this time. And I remember James, the choreographer, being like, Erica, can you be a little more grounded? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. If he's gonna ask me to get grounded, I'm gonna get grounded. And I whacked out some weird walkover, I think, in this little improv section. And I was like, I don't know where that came from. And then I made it to the next round. And then there was another round, which was a bit more like commercial. We had like heels on and it was voguey. It was really cool, very cool. At the end of the day, me and my friend Millie, who actually worked on the ship together in the end, we were one of the people in the last round. And I looked at her and I went, what more is there to do? Because we've done everything. She was like, I actually don't know. And I was like, I think my body might give in, but we gotta keep going. A casting director comes to us and he goes, right guys, it's the last bit of the day and I know a few of you might not feel comfortable with this, but we're gonna do some acting. And I just went, yes, I love acting, I love acting. So yeah, me and Millie were a little duo and me and Millie worked together. That was that. I auditioned, I think end of Jan, and I got a call end of March, I think. And casting director called me and he was like, Erica, I have an offer for you. And I was like, no way. I actually cried on the phone. I was like, this is a dream. Little side story. I had signed a contract for a different job and this job was in Germany, which was another goal of mine last year. I really wanted this job and I signed it and I was like, what do I do? It was almost obvious, you know, what to do. I love to travel. I've worked on cruise ships before. Virgin is just a new company I want to work with, and because I loved the energy of the audition, I was like, I think I have to do this. And the money was more. I still found it hard to, you know, weave my way out of the Germany job. So thankfully my agent did that for me, but I felt bad. Like I still want to do that. I still want to work in Germany. So maybe one day, we'll see. But you know, I did a whole new dream and I will never ever regret that because I'm actually going back to Virgin. I'm going back in a month's time. Well, I don't know when this video will be up, but it is now start of March and I'm going mid-April. Now I'm going to move on to rehearsals. So rehearsals for Virgin are in Orlando, Florida. It's 4 weeks, so you're there for a month, and we do 9 till 6, I think. They're quite full-on days. We get 1 day off a week. That's how it was for us. I think it's the same for everyone on all the Virgin ships. It was tough learning 2 shows, but all in all, it was so fun. The choreographers are to die for. Wow, they were incredible. And just the whole team. The whole team was fantastic. Like, I'll never, ever, ever forget them till the day I die. I think last year was actually the best year of my life. Truly. I need a wine. But yeah, you stay in this hotel where you have your own kitchen and living room, you share it with somebody else, but you both get a nice double bed each. Last year, I actually had the whole room to myself because my friend Brie, who came on the ship, actually lives in Orlando, and she was my hotel partner, but she lived in Orlando, so she didn't need to stay at the hotel. She would just come around every now and again to like sunbathe or go in the pool or the jacuzzi at night. But yeah, I had a room to myself. I was like, wow, I've got a whole Airbnb here. This year I'll definitely be sharing with somebody. I mean, that doesn't bother me. I like people. You get free breakfast at the hotel, and I used to like make a sandwich and bring some snacks with me from there for my lunch. We had time to like go buy lunch on our breaks, but I was so skint. I was like, well, I'm gonna make my lunch, because we also didn't get any dinner. We had to food shop and make our own food. If you go to Virgin, make sure you have money during rehearsals, unlike me. We had 2 cars. How many's in our cast? I don't even know. 9, 10, 11, 12, between 10 and 13, I don't know. But we had 2 cars. We had like designated drivers, and they would drive us to the studios and back every day. It was just so fun. It was a great time to like get to know the cast before going to the ship. On my last ship, we rehearsed on board, so this was a whole new experience, so much better. There was a hotel across our hotel that had a jacuzzi, which we were allowed to go to, and a bar. Some nights we would like just go in that jacuzzi when your body's like hurting, and it was so nice. Let's rewind a hot sec. So when I got offered the Virgin job, my casting director said, Erica, you're gonna... No, he didn't actually say this on the phone. Actually, whoa, Erica. One thing at a time. On the phone, he said, Erica, wait, no, I'll get back to this. Fast forward again. Before I went to Orlando, my casting director texts me and he goes, Erica, you're afraid of heights? And I go, no. He goes, well, you're gonna fly 30 feet above the ground, you know, on a 2-point harness. And I was like, oh, that is a dream. I love heights. I love flying. I used to do gymnastics, so anything like that is cool. I'm still so grateful for that. Don't know why I was chosen for that. Like, actually, no idea. I was just like, yeah, cool. Sounds sick. So in Orlando, I had aerial rehearsal to firstly learn how to do that, and then we had to learn a routine, and I had a song. We had to make up a sequence, and la-di-da-di-da. I will say I had a bit of a hard time. I don't know what it is. I'm quite a nauseous person. It's really bizarre to me. I still can't figure it out. I get travel sick easily, so if things are moving around me, I'm like, ugh. I used to do gymnastics and I do handstands all the time and like cartwheels and that, like it doesn't bother me. But something about the aerial rehearsal got me. As soon as I was upside down for too long, I just got like a roaring headache, like pounding here to the point where my eyes would hurt and I felt sick. And I threw up one day, which doesn't sound healthy because it wasn't. But I was like, I don't know what's wrong with me. And I was so ill. Like I was laying on the sofa. I like basically took the afternoon off that day, which is not like me. I will push through anything. I've done gymnastics on a fractured heel for 3 months. Pause is not for me. Although I'm learning now to rest when I need to. As time went on, it got better and better and better. Show-wise, we had 2 shows. One of them was called Red Hot, which was a Virgin Records show. It was about the legacy of Virgin Records and Richard Branson. So he's in the show, kind of. So we have big screens in the show and we have, you know, LED screenings, and Richard Branson is on the screens a lot. There's a lot of stories about him and what he's, you know, been up to in his life. Every number in the show is a Virgin Records song. Like we've got Spice Girls, we've got Sex Pistols, we've got, you know, all that jazz, Janet Jackson. But it's just a very upbeat, groovy show, and it's called Red Hot because Virgin is red. So we've got like red heeled boots. The whole show is in stilettos. We got a main red outfit. Mine's a beautiful red dress. I'm honestly so happy with it. So we had 2 weeks for each show. The second show, this is what my casting director said to me on the phone. He goes, Erica, you're gonna be a lead role. And I was like, huh? He goes, yeah. And I was like, what do you mean? He said, you'll see when you're there. And I was like, oh, okay. Literally had no idea. And then by the time we got to Orlando, I even forgot about this. Then we learned the second show, and in this show you have the dancers, the 2 singers, and a robot. And I was the robot. And I was like, oh, I think this is what he means by lead role, because the 2 singers are the lead roles. And then I was a part of it. It's just really funny. It's a funny show as well. I got to do some acting there. The robot dancers as well, don't get me wrong. My character was called Tim. What does that mean? Tim. Technical Intelligence Mobility Machine? Technical is wrong. I forgot what the T stands for. I'm really embarrassed right now. Intelligent Mobility Machine. That's how she talks. Anyway, Tim is a voiceover and I kind of mime what she's doing. It's hard to explain. I'll insert some clips. I don't know what I'm allowed to share, to be honest. I think I can share.
Tim, scan!
It's a signal repeating over and over. Na 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 na.
And get to know me close.
Till I can get my satisfaction.
But yeah, Tim, big part of my heart. I love her. After a month in Orlando, we get on board. So next step is getting on board. So on board, we had to install the shows, which means you do the technical side of the shows. So setting all the lights, the timing and the musicality, and make sure you're standing in the right spot on stage. But because we were an inaugural cast, the lights weren't preset. They had to use our bodies to be the very first people to set this. So normally install would take, I think, a week, but it took us a month. Long days again. So after doing 9 till 6 days in Orlando, everyone was like, oh, it's going to be easier on the ship. No. But this is only because we were an inaugural cast. Otherwise, it will be different. So when I go back this year, I'm not going to experience that. But basically, our days were like 10 till 10, a lot of the time.
I look as tired as I feel. Still got more rehearsals till 10 p.m. and then we're done for the day. Ooh, I look so tired. I did my aerial flying track tonight for the first time with like the stage lights and stuff, and it was really fun, like so cool.
Looking back, that was a bit wild. So we knew the 2 shows, took 2 weeks each to install these, set up the lights and learn it again, kind of. Not again, but like it's always different in a different space and on a big stage. But another thing we had to learn is Scarlet Night. Now, if you're a Virgin passenger or if you already work on Virgin, you know what Scarlet Night is, but if you don't, I'll tell you now. So Scarlet Night is like a flash mob. You engage with the guests on board. Oh, on Virgin they're called sailors. Your guests are sailors. Ahoy sailors. And Scarlet Night is just the most fun, especially for the passenger, the sailors. They love it. Everyone dresses in red. We are dressed in red as well, and we're meant to blend in with the crowd so that they don't know we're gonna dance. And we do burst out in a boogie. You've got the hostess, you've got the drag queen, and it's just everybody. On Virgin you have the Happenings cast as well, and they each have their individual specialties, and they're so amazing and talented people as well, and they're all part of it. So it's the whole of entertainment that does Scarlet Night, and it's so fun. And then there's a pool party at the end, and we dance around the pool deck if the weather's fine. We have an indoor version as well, but yeah, it's fun. But that took another good week to learn, so it was like, woof, our brains were frying. During this time, I actually got a bit injured. I was doing my aerial and my neck clicked. Like, I remember hearing the click in my ears, and I like couldn't move my neck or my head properly. Pain ran into my shoulders, couldn't move my arms properly, like everything hurt. I had to get an MRI scan, I had to go to a neurologist. It was a lot, and I'm still like, can't believe I did that. They're a lot better, and I'm doing a lot of gym and rehab for them, and I've seen physio, but I have to strengthen whatever was wrong. But basically I damaged my rotator cuffs, and certain things just hurts, but it's a lot better, and I'm just a lot more cautious, and I know I'll be fine. Okay, I'm almost done with the install process. Whilst we were doing install and after, we had no sailors on board. Because it was a brand new ship, there was No! Guys, my light. Hold up, let me get a charger. Oh, head rush. I feel like I can't breathe because I'm like trying not to miss anything. Right, let me start this section again. We were on the ship for 5 months and Orlando for a month, so my contract is 6 months. When we boarded the ship, the first 2.5 months, I think, it wasn't till mid-June, August. Sorry, wait. Boarded the ship June, July, and then middle of August, we finally got our first guests. Crazy, right? So we were alone on the ship as a cast. We had hospitality on board, the hospital, gym trainers. We were all on board without sailors. So once we'd installed the shows, we actually had a little bit of free time because we weren't performing for everyone. We did a few crew shows, we did a lot of rehearsal and whatnot. And then we found out that the show Red Hot, which is the first one we learned, that got postponed. They had to change a lot of technical things within the show. Thankfully for us, there wasn't much changing, dance-wise, choreography-wise, but it got postponed and we were upset because we were excited about this. I'm just adjust that. Yeah, it kind of sucked, but that's part of being a first cast. We are the guinea pigs and they test everything on us. Not in a bad way, but that's just how it works. Because they don't want any future casts to have to go through that. Like, we need to do it. When the ship opens, it has to be open perfectly, you know? We can't be changing things years later. Mid-August, we get our first passengers on board. So we had 2 weeks of family and friends, is what it was called. So you could invite people, and I actually got to get my brother, my mum, and our friend Elaine on board for a day because it was in Portsmouth where we docked. That's where this family and friends cruise started. Portsmouth, would you believe it? They got to see my show where I was a robot. They had lots of drinks. They did their own thing and they had a blast, honestly. Elaine still talks about it. I'm so happy they had a good time. After those 2 weeks, we had the launch of Miami? New York? I can't remember. New York. Anyway, we had a week or two of influencers on board and famous people, I guess. I swear, DJ Khaled was on board and I think he saw our show. I was freaking out in the dressing room.
Calm down now. DJ Khaled is in the audience.
I love DJ Khaled. Like, someone bring me the lobster. I'm sad I didn't meet him though. But there were a lot of cool people. We got to meet a few. It was so cool. So basically these influencers were like promoting the ship. So they came on board as guests, I guess, for Virgin. And yeah, they were promotion and it was just amazing. So once the family and friends voyage was done and the influencer voyage, let's say, was done, then we had our first official guests. Sailors who like pre-booked in advance and, you know, enjoyed the cruise as a proper guest, and that was Brilliant Ladies opening. Very cool to experience, and I'm very honoured, grateful and thankful for the opportunity. I can't believe I was an inaugural cast. Let me just tell you a little bit about my weeks on board, how it worked. On a cruise ship you have voyages. A voyage can be 3 days, 5 days, a week, 12 days, 2 weeks. Standard I think would be a week. We normally worked most days. Sometimes we do more, but as a standard rule, we did 2 of each shows, which is 4 in a week, and then Scarlet Night. And each show we would perform twice at night, so at 7:30 and at 10 p.m. So that was my week. Sometimes if we had a longer voyage, we would do 1 or both of the shows more than twice a week. I can't actually fully remember, to be honest. But we performed most nights. Because it was a new ship, we were sailing a lot. We travelled loads and it was amazing. To go back, when we installed the ship, we were in dry dock in Palermo, Sicily. And this has a big place in all of our hearts. Like, me and my cast still talk about Palermo as one of our favourite memories because we basically lived in Sicily for a month. It was really cool. Anyway, if you don't know what dry dock is, that means the ship is basically on land. The ship goes into like a shipyard. That's where we lived. We were in a shipyard. It's not a tunnel, it's just like a grave, and they drain the water and then the ship is just on land basically. But this is because it's new, and like every ship has to do this every few years just to check everything's all right, you know, like the propellers and all that jargon jazz. And for our sake it was a lot of like painting and stuff as well because it was new. After that we were in wet dock in Malaga, and now wet dock means the ship isn't licensed, I think, to be legally docking in a port. I've done cruise ships for so long and I still don't know all the jargon. So we were floating in the middle of the sea because we weren't allowed to dock anywhere in Malaga, and to get onto land we had to use a tender boat, which was like a big lifeboat. They could fit many people in there, and we would get in it and it would like vroom 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 us to land, and it took like 20 minutes. That also made me travel sick. Guys, I get seasick, would you believe it? It's definitely improved over the years, but I do struggle sometimes. I really do. Like, I have anti-sickness tablets here and there. But if you're scared of cruising, I'm still scared of the sea and sharks. But you don't feel like you're in the middle of the ocean unless it's dark, you're out at night and you're staring into the abyss and you're like, wow, this is where I am. And I said to my friends one night, I was like, we can't see anything. We could see a boat far away, another light far away, and I was like, if the boat went down now, which way would you go? And we all kind of went, don't actually know. I mean, hopefully a lifeboat would save us. That's the point and the goal. But yeah, if that was to happen, I was like, I have no idea. Couldn't see anything. All in all, it's not scary. Half the time I don't even know the ship's moving, and then I wake up and I'm like, oh, I'm in the Bahamas. It's so great. If you do get seasick, it's not as bad as it sounds. It's really not. The boat actually barely moves. The only time I got kind of seasick was around, was it Miami or New York, when it was a bit windy and a bit more waves? But honestly, because the boats are so big, you don't even feel the waves, so you like glide over them. But yeah, I got to see a lot of places last year. Places I travelled. We started, like I said, in Palermo, Sicily, went through Malaga, Portugal, overnight in Lisbon, and then we went across the Atlantic to New York. Yes. And across the Atlantic, there is the Azores Islands, which belongs to Portugal. If you look on a map, guys, please do. It's in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, like literally in the middle. Like, you couldn't be more isolated. One of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. Then we made it to New York, and then we stayed in like America and Canada for a bit. So we did like Boston, New York. We went to places like Quebec, Halifax. Gorgeous, so beautiful. I love Canada. It was so cute, and I'm going back there this year. We stayed there for like a good few weeks, maybe a month, and then we went down to Miami and the Caribbean and a bit of the Bahamas. And then because of the Jamaica hurricane incident, we were meant to go there, but we went to Mexico instead. So that was my travel. Guys, my family was in Jamaica during this hurricane. They got hammered by the eye of the hurricane. I was on a ship in Miami and my family was in Jamaica. I had no contact through some of it, but it was a crazy time. Anyway, story for another time. Nearly done with this video. I'm just going to talk about a few of the travels, my favourite ports and whatnot. So my favourite ports, I've written a little list on here. Lisbon, Azores, Honduras, and New York. Still think I'm sticking with that. New York will always be one of my favourite places. Honduras, beautiful. It was like a jungle. It was like a tropical rainforest. Like, I remember like tearing up in the taxi at one point. I was like, I'm really travelling. Oh, wow. And then the ports, I had the best days. So again, I've got Azores and Lisbon. Azores, I went horseback riding. I've got a vlog on that actually. It's not too far down in my vlogs playlist. You'll find it. Lisbon, I've also got a vlog on that one. So fun. Miami, one of our days in Miami. One of our days in Miami, we did a bottomless drag brunch. I saw drag queens in America. So fun. And I bought some Tom Ford glasses there. These reflect on the light. Amazing. Kind of spontaneous of me. I've got St. Martin. This is a Caribbean island. I went to the Mayho Beach, which is the famous aeroplane beach, a very touristic place. Me and Damien went. He's in my cast. Love him dearly. And then we jumped on a bus with a lot of people from the Happenings cast, actually. Just the funniest day ever. Bimini Islands, beautiful. We had a lovely beach day there. It was so, so good. Guys, I think my light is broken, so if the lighting has changed, I apologise. I'm almost done with the video, don't worry. And then Quebec, Canada. Loved it. The most beautiful architecture I've ever seen, ever in my life. And then guys, my light is not working and I'm actually just going to finish the video like this. I'm very sorry. Super fast, I'm going to talk about some favourite memories. So, I got to do aerial with no shoes. I was meant to do the aerial track with boots. And I couldn't point my feet and I was getting very frustrated and I was begging to take my shoes off. And I was like, I don't look beautiful. I'm meant to look like a flying fairy. This is actually why I got this tattoo, by the way, because everyone called me Tinkerbell. After Red Hot got postponed, when they brought it back, they let me do it with no shoes. And now that track is forever no shoes and everyone needs to thank me for that who does that track. Any F4s on Virgin in Brilliant Lady in the future, you're welcome. You would not enjoy the boots. Bermuda. I forgot I went to Bermuda. That has to be one of my favourite places. So funny. We only went twice, I think. Me, Monica and Damien went out one night. We found this pirate ship right next to the port. We had a few drinks and then we met this guy who works on yachts who lives there. And he was like, come see my boat. And we were like, okay. And we chilled on a yacht.
Our friend is bringing us onto a boat. That's our ship. This is the boat.
It was so fun. Oh, it wasn't a yacht. It was like a really small boat. I don't know, but it was so cool. Another favourite memory is when we debuted Red Hot. We met Richard Branson. He came to watch the show and we had a lot of other people watching. We had our head of entertainment who was part of casting the auditions and stuff. They all came on board and it was fantastic. It was a very, very magical moment, to be honest. Palermo, Sicily, fantabulous. Southern Nights. This is a club in Orlando that I'm very excited to go back to next month. Next month. I can't believe it. Guys, I've been home and jobless for 5 months. Those are my favourite memories. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. That's more or less all I have to say about Virgin. I don't even think people made it to the end of this video, but if you did, give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments. If you're a dancer auditioning for Virgin, give it your all because you're gonna have a great time. Even though I said I wanted to get out of my last company, I'm not saying I would never go back. Cruise ships as a whole in general is just so much fun. It's just a great way to meet people, to travel and to still do your job, what you've been working towards for years. And if you're a passenger or a sailor, have fun and come and watch the shows because we work very hard. Also, let me know in the comments down below if there's a specific video you would like me to film or something more Virgin related or dance or audition related because I can do that for you. I want to thank you for listening to this video. If you made it this far, please subscribe to my channel. I will be on Virgin this year, like I said, and I'm gonna make more videos, more vlogs. I really hope you enjoyed this. So thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for more. Peace out.